Hello everybody, welcome to episode 5 of Bob's Bus Rescue. We're going to see what we can break today. The reason why we're actually doing this video series of me restoring our old 1976 VW camper van. We've owned this bus now for 20 years and the bus itself will be coming up to its 50th birthday next year. We're starting to restore the bus and we want to get her back to her former glory. Let's restore the bus for myself and my wife. Hello, we're straight into a time lapse of fitting the inner and the outer lower door frame pieces here. This is a very time consuming. I like to offer up and trim with the die grinder and then rinse and repeat. It's very iterative, but you get a really nice fit in the end. You have to be careful though with the die grinder because it can be quite aggressive. So this is just a time lapse of that process, which took me a few days, so enjoy. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, this bottom leg here, we've been shaping the part to fit in here. I now need to just get this welded in. All this is welded up, put the spot welds in. It's all done from underneath because I did need to move it round a little actually. So we've got this welded up here. And we've also got it welded up around the inside. I've only ground that down just with the die grinder for now. We're all ground up here on the inside of the valance. No need to do any more welding there. Then put some of the either the weld through prime or maybe strip all that off and put an acid etch prime on that. I'd always intended to use an acid etch prime on it. I could protect it with something. This all needs to be ground off. It's all good, but it all needs to be ground off and just taken back to bare metal. I've ground this down here now as well. I used the die grinder for that. It's much simpler to use the die grinder than it's used. I've left this still to do here because I am going to cut this piece in here. Which then brings me on to whether or not I should start making this quarter panel next. Because as I put the rest of the valance in there, I've got the issue of I would have to start removing some of this quarter panel to actually be able to get in there. I do also need to do the welding, need to do the welding on the battery tray in there because it's all rotten. Most battery trays are. The leisure battery tray over this side was fine. That isn't. So that needs sorting out. But all this is all good around here, so that's okay. It's just what's going on inside the rear quarter. Then that also brings me round to here. As I have the quarter panel sat there, which needs knitting here, I do actually have some bubbling here at the lower area. So this lower area needs, it might be that I have to take this over to here, remove the seam, which I didn't really want to do, but it would only be from this height. And maybe I take off this rear quarter, this wheel arch panel sooner rather than later and start to knit that in, but at this height, and do the rear quarter and this arch panel at the same time. I think that kind of makes sense. But for the time being, I just want to get this part buttoned up. I want to get this sorted out, get this in, put this piece on here, that goes in there. Make sure that the front panel, a panel piece that goes on the valance, which goes here, this all fits okay. I have trial fitted that. Everything's looking good with that. Want to get all that in place, finish this up, ready to put the rear quarter in. Once I'm at that point, and I'm going to take that off. I need to create myself a bit of space down here though, because it's not, I don't actually have a lot of space in this garage down the side, so I need to clear some things out. As we go to what's going on with the bench here, I've been looking at this piece. Now this had this attached to it here. Now when I'm over here at the bus and I offer this piece up, when we've got this in here and this was still in place there, this was short there. I don't know if you can see that. It wasn't reaching, and it was just sitting short, and it was very offensive to me. So is what I'm going to do is I'm not just going to pull this piece out because it's also a bit small there as well. You can see it doesn't quite fit properly. So I've cut it out, and over here I've started to make a piece. So I started to shape this piece here. So I'm going to basically weld this in, and I've done this oversize so that I can make that fit and get it to the correct size on the bus. Get it all trimmed up, get it so it's a perfect fit. Then I'm going to TIG weld it in, and then once it's TIG welded in, I'll grind it up, make sure it's nice. Yeah, and that should work quite well then. It's really annoying, these little faffy bits at the end, you know, when you think that you've got to the finish on a piece and it's nearly buttoned up, but not quite the case. One of the other things I had to do with this, which is here. So to make this piece here, I literally took an old chisel off the hammer chisel that I've got, rounded it so that it's actually the same diameter as this. And then I used it as a hammer form because I don't have any V's. I literally just tend to bend things either in the vise, just bend over at 90 degrees, bend over here on this nice thick piece of steel that I've got. So then I just used this to create the hammer form so that then when you put that there like that, you can see it's actually the right diameter. Because if you just fold it sharply, it ends up with a very sharp corner and it doesn't fit to the bus then. And we need this to match with the bus. So that's what we're going to do next. We're just going to TIG weld that in. So I'll probably just do all that on a time lapse and you can just watch along for fun. Been shaping this piece part here, which goes in this lower leg, as it were. So we've got that fitting much better now. So made this small piece which I've welded in. That fits there. That can be trimmed to be the same size. Much happy with that. I'm going to weld that in now. It's a little bit sharp there, but it can be ground to suit everything else. I've got this lower leg welded in now, so this lower leg's welded in. I'll put some weld primer over it all just to keep it from flash rusting at all at the moment. Don't really need to grind those welds back there, which is handy. And we've got that welded round there as well. Just need to put that lower piece in there. This all went a bit wrong here. I put the spots in, welded them in, and then I realised I hadn't clamped this in position around the back, and I couldn't then clamp it in position because I'd welded this too far forward. So I had to break the weld and then clamp that back up. Then I could weld that. So that made a bit of a mess of that, but I've kind of coped with it and rectified it. It's not too bad. I've also managed to get this piece done here the way that I wanted to. So that's come out quite well. There's a little bit of welding just still to be done there. Little bit. Just touch that up with the MIG torch. I did say I was going to TIG weld that, but when I went to TIG weld it, I found that I couldn't actually get the torch into this gap. It wouldn't fit in the gap. and then it was doing weird things with the gas. I could have put the tip out a bit further, but I just decided to MIG weld it in the end. Sorry, not TIG. We're getting there now. This is pretty much nearly done. A little bit of finishing work to do on that tomorrow. Put the spot welds in there, and yeah, then I will put that piece in there. So that finishes off that bit. So then we'll cut away the rest of that there, and probably cut away this side panel as well, and see what's going on behind there. See how bad it is or good it is. It's generally bad news when you do that sort of thing. So we'll see. So that's the end of the day. It's all getting a bit dark now, and also a bit tired. Beautiful day outside though. You can see outside there. Lovely blue skies. I thought I should show you what I'm actually up to here, because I haven't actually spoken to you about it. So I'm just finishing off the quarter here, and then I've just been finishing off grinding up some of the welds here, and then I've also now welded in this part here. My welding's not so great here, but it's good in that it's penetrated. Yeah, I'm just die grinding it down, and then I'll use the flap wheel on it to get it to a nice surface, nice smooth surface. This gets off most of it quite easily though. We're actually on to, we either continue with the valance, or we move down here, and as you can see here, there is a bit of pockmark rust bubbling there. I do think I probably need to take this seam all the way up to here, so I lose this natural seam, which is a shame, but I think I need to do that. And this is what I can use. I can use this old wing here as a place to fit it to. So when I put the quarter panel on, I can fit it to this. Then once that's happy, then I can actually take this out, and we move on from there. So everything should then be in the right position. I think that seems like a logical way to go. I can't really think of any other way to do it. So it's not particularly light here. I had a bit of a light. Bit of a dark corner I'm working in. All my lights seem to have gone out. I don't know why that is. They mustn't have charged. Just had the very strangest end to my work day there. So I was grinding a weld at the back of the weld at the corner, and it all went dark all of a sudden. And I think maybe the compressor kicking in has caused the USB charge port, which charges all my work lights, to fail. It has lots of points on it. It's only a few weeks old, and it's just packed in on me, and I use that to charge all the working lights. So I have quite a few of these. I've got 5 or 6 of them. They would usually work brilliantly, absolutely brilliantly, because it just lights the area great. But now they seem to have failed, which is ever so odd. So now it's all dark around there. So I'm having to just stop for the evening, and I will carry on tomorrow and have a look to see if I can fix this USB charge board, and also go around the house and plug up my work lights into all the sockets around the house which have got USB charge ports on them, because that's all I can really do. Frustrating. So we've just been tidying up in the engine bay where I've welded on the valance here. I've just put some weld in here, put some weld along here. It's difficult to weld along here because it's actually an edge. So I'll grind that back and it won't look too bad. I'll show you when it's ground back. But on the whole, it's all pretty good down here. Just get this tidied up now and then I'll show you that again and it'll be finished. So I'll be finished up in this area then. Then I'm going to, I'll probably strip all the paint off in this area around here because I'll then build up from there, put some POR 15 on there, maybe an epoxy primer. We'll go from there. So you can see here, this is where I've brought the quarter panel off to here. And as I was discussing earlier, I might well take the seam as well, go to the seam with the wheel arch panel, because of, if I go underneath a bit further here, it's a bit rotten around here, so I think I'll remove it. Just be a better job basically. So time to carry on. Put you back on time so you can carry on watching from there. So I've just been working away on some of the old paint and some sort of surface rust there as well. And so we've got this area kind of cleaned up a bit better now, all down here. But what I did discover when I was doing that was discovered this here. There was a sort of, there's a rust hole. So what I've done is I've cut through, because that's 2 layers of steel there. This is the old valance top which I wanted to save, mainly because of the chassis numbers there on the bus. So I didn't really want to lose it if I could help it. I will do a cardboard template into this area here, use the old as the guy from his YouTube channel, Vagabonders, he uses cardboard aided design, CAD. So I shall use a bit of CAD to do that there. I'll just make a cardboard template, cut it out and just weld that in, grind it up, and we'll be good there then. And it'll all be zinc weld prime underneath it as well. And on the other side, I've ground it up underneath now as well. Gotta stop for the day now though. So that's the end of another day. These days go very quickly and you don't seem to get much done. Catch you all tomorrow. After all that work today, getting the paint off in this engine bay area, you can see that I've managed to get it down to the point where it's pretty much bare metal everywhere. On the inside though, here just on these inner engine chassis rails, it's actually done a bit of flash rust in there because I haven't touched that for a day or two. So I've got some OSFO coming. I've actually managed to find some OSFO. I've seen that on some American sort of YouTuber sites mention OSFO. Phosphorus acid. It's meant to be very good for getting any surface rust out and any pitted rust as well. So I was going to use that on this whole area and then give it a wire wheel and carry on from there. If I'm happy, then I'll use POR 15. You can see in that area here, this is where I've got a bit of flash rust and pitting from old corrosion as well. But anyway, that's it for this evening and also for this particular episode. That's it for now. Goodbye. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe as well if you like the channel. Thank you for watching.